I'm Dr. Dennis Winter. I've been practicing dentistry for 38 years. I enjoy practicing cosmetic and restorative dentistry. I enjoy laser dentistry, especially as one of my passions. I'm married to a dentist. Dr. Loredana Carnevale is my wife. She's also an Italian dentist, and we have two beautiful children. We're in high school. I grew up on a farm in northeast Iowa and attended Iowa State University for chemistry and biology. I went on to the University of Iowa College of Dentistry and was very involved in student government. I was an exchange student to Denmark. I then ultimately ended up in the U.S. Air Force as a dentist. After nearly 20 years of practicing dentistry in Denver, Colorado, I joined my wife in her practice in the heart of Rome, where we serve mainly the American community living overseas. After practicing in Rome, we moved to Des Moines, Iowa to further our children's education. We started our first practice in Beaverdale, and several years later, we grew into a larger office here in West Des Moines.
I love my patients, and I love what I do. And I do it because I like it. Yeah, so I'm very happy.
It's really fun. Co-workers, Dr. Winter, he's amazing. It's just, when I come to work, it's not really just come into work and get the job done and leave. I enjoy being here, and it's more like family.
I think the transformation that occurs oftentimes is equivalent to what happens when children come out of braces. Oftentimes, suddenly they smile, their personality changes, they really become the person that they wanted to be, making them more confident and more successful in their life and their career. I'm passionate about dentistry. I enjoy helping people, I enjoy meeting people, and I think it's a part of what we do is to help people relax when they come to the dentist and not be too serious, but yet still be professional. Today I would like to introduce you to laser dentistry. Many of our patients and even many dentists are not familiar with what laser dentistry really is. It is truly the cutting edge of what is happening in our profession today. These are devices that cut with light and water, as opposed to cutting with a knife or scalpel or with a drill. The beauty of this first laser is that it's primarily for soft tissue, such as gums, infected gum tissue. We can whiten teeth, and we can also utilize pain therapy with this little device. And it quite simply cuts with light. And it's first activated on a dark surface, and now this will cut tissue with very little discomfort and many times with very little anesthetic. It allows the gum tissue to heal much faster with no swelling and virtually very little pain, much less invasive than our traditional methods. On the other hand, here on the right, I have a water laser. This cuts with water and light, which is truly remarkable because this device cuts by energizing water through what we call hydrokinetics. So even though it looks like a drill, it never touches the tooth and it floats above the tooth structure. So we can make fillings, we can do lengthening of teeth, we can remove bone, gum tissue. This is both a hard and soft tissue laser. This is a particular company out of California called BioLace. And these are really a couple of cutting edge devices today that allow us to provide state-of-the-art dentistry in a much less invasive way than we used to do things. We look forward to optimizing your oral health with laser dentistry. Thank you. Good morning, Lucia.
It was definitely a warm welcome. I walked in and just the presence, the energy in the room was really great. And once I started talking to Dr. Winter, I knew I was where I needed to be because I just felt good. And if I'm going to spend my money a lot, I want to make sure it's somebody that treats me well. And Dr. Winter, his wife, and the crew did that for me. I used to be called Smiley when I was a little girl, and then I saw a picture of my smile, and I was almost devastated. The repair work was 8 crowns on the upper. I had a cracked tooth upper front. I had to have a lot of work done. It made me feel relaxed and content, and now amazingly happy because I could smile again.
Dr. Winter will take the time and really talk to you about what it is you want fixed and your overall goal to what you want your smile to look like, and you'll ultimately be happy with it. He kind of lights up the room when he comes in. Very personable, very easygoing. He definitely knows his stuff too, and you can tell. After my first Zoom treatment that I had, I left and was just, couldn't stop looking in the mirror. My teeth were so white and so pretty that I was just ecstatic.
Welcome again to Iowa Dental Arts and another of our informational videos. Today I'll be speaking about TMJ, clenching, grinding, bruxism, are all terms that we use in describing this problem when people have their teeth in contact much more than normal. Especially when stress is involved, quite often people will do this subconsciously without even being aware of it. In fact, one of the very first things we do is to make an awareness that in our normal resting position that our teeth should only touch a few minutes per day. It's been estimated approximately 5 minutes per day is all that our teeth normally contact in chewing our food, even 3 meals a day. The teeth touch only intermittently, and that is simply because the food acts as a lubricant and keeps our teeth from wearing out prematurely. So many times we see patients that are destroying their teeth at a young age and therefore end up having problems with broken teeth, TMJ, root canals, and even in some cases loss of teeth from extreme biting forces. And the fact is that we really touch our teeth more in a 24-hour period simply in swallowing than we do in chewing our food. One of the key problems that creates the breakage of teeth is the fact that we're really dealing with extreme forces. When we chew our food, normally we chew with 40 to 60 pounds of force, where if I asked the patient to clench as hard as they could on their back teeth, those forces when they're awake are about 200 pounds per square inch. But subconsciously in our sleep, especially during deep REM sleep, we're able to bite with forces that are 5 times our conscious biting forces, which can be in excess of 1,000 pounds per square inch. This is oftentimes what leads to breakage of teeth and also the pain in muscles because we reach the threshold of what the muscles can tolerate. Many of our patients are treated by making an occlusal bite splint, which is used primarily at nighttime. In the beginning, our patients would wear it as much as possible in the first 4 to 6 weeks of treatment until we establish comfort and an increased range of motion, because many times people are not able to open to their normal distance, which is usually 3 fingers between the upper and lower teeth. Many times we find our patients can only open 1 or 2 fingers because of the tightness in the muscles, which is amazing that something as simple as an occlusal bite splint, which is non-invasive, it's totally reversible, can help the majority of our patients become free of pain and symptoms and prevent fracture of their teeth, especially as they age. Thank you again for joining me today for this informational video on TMJ problems, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye now.
What causes tooth decay? What is it that lives on our teeth, gums and tongue? Microbes. These microbes can be good or bad, and the bad ones can cause tooth decay. There are many types of bacteria that cause tooth decay. These can be Streptococcus mutans, Streptococcus cybrinus, and Lactobacillus. This is not at all exaggerated. As soon as we eat something, our bad, tiny microbes start to initiate a fierce battle in our mouth. The bacteria use every bit of leftover foods and drink that contain sugar or starch as ingredients to produce acids that can eat away the tooth's hardest surface, the enamel, the wound in the tooth that we've noticed as the dental cavity, and the surrounding devastating, sticky, transparent film of microbes as dental plaque. Battling the destruction the microbes has brought is the minerals in our saliva, consisting of mainly calcium and phosphate, together with fluoride from the toothpaste, water and other sources. The saliva remineralizes the damaged enamel after each acid attack. This battle of scraping minerals away and cementing it back to enamel is always happening at any time, for as long as the person is alive. A constant acid attack, however, may overburden the ability of saliva to heal the tooth. This means that the frequent eating and drinking of sugar and starch that we all love arms the bacteria to defeat the good guy, saliva. The rate of recovery of the enamel will be outrun by the repeated cycles of acid damage done to it, hence causing it to lose minerals. An early sign of decay may show in the form of a white spot where the mineral is lacking. If action is taken at this point by supplying enough minerals and fluoride, the enamel can still repair itself and the decay can be stopped or even reversed. But if we keep consuming sugar and starch mindlessly, more minerals will be lost and the decay process will continue beyond repair. The enamel will be weakened and eventually destroyed, forming a dental cavity. To save the damaged tooth, we require the help of a dentist to fill the hole with materials such as composite resin. Tooth decays can be avoided by eating or drinking less sugar and starches. Frequent use of fluoride-containing mouthwashes, gels, toothpaste and tablets will also fortify the enamel. This is why it's important to brush our teeth twice a day.
Pues que está bien la clínica, que vengan aquí. A mí me han atendido muy bien desde la primera vez que vine. Me dan la confianza y tienen gente que interpreta a la gente que no habla inglés. Pero, o sea, me siento bien, pues vengo contento a mis citas porque paso un rato agradable y cada 3 meses a mi limpieza. Pues que es buena persona, lo hace sentir a uno como un amigo, lo atiende a uno muy bien, le tiene a uno paciencia y se siente uno en confianza cuando está uno con él.
Oh, por la cortesía, la amabilidad que hay y sobre todo porque hablan mi idioma. Tengo la facilidad de comunicarme lo que yo quiero saber o las dudas que tengo y la gentileza que me han brindado me ha convencido para venir. Hablo poquito inglés y siempre hay inicio que si hay alguien que hable español. Siempre que hablo a algún lugar como cualquiera y pregunto si hay alguien que hable español y dice que no, ok. Entonces ya busco a alguien. Yo tengo mis hijos que hablan el inglés, pero yo siempre que voy a un lugar, si me puedo comunicar en mi idioma, mucho mejor para mí.
Welcome back to Iowa Dental Arts and another informational video. Today I would like to talk about periodontal disease, commonly referred to as gum disease, pyorrhea, gingivitis. All these terms have been used interchangeably, when in fact periodontal disease really is a destruction of the bone and the gum tissue around our natural teeth, which then allows our teeth to become loose over time and ultimately be lost without really any pain until the very end of this process, which makes periodontal disease a rather insidious problem because many of our patients aren't even aware. If they haven't had regular checkups and cleanings, they're not in pain. If they look carefully, they would see puffy, bleeding gums. They may not be cleaning between their teeth, and therefore they wouldn't necessarily see that their gums bleed. If they were to floss, most people with gum disease would notice that there is bleeding. So periodontal disease is a self-destruct process whereby our body's white blood cells are going in trying to kill these bacteria that are hiding in the plaque and the tartar that forms on the teeth. This is really the basic cause of gum disease, is plaque that forms on our teeth in a 24-hour period. If we don't break this plaque cycle at least once, this plaque will harden due to the calcium in our own saliva, and it becomes a rough surface on the teeth. Oftentimes it's visible inside of our lower front teeth is where we'll see this first, but it's hard to see, and many people aren't even aware that they have tartar building up around their teeth, or more importantly, below the gum line. And this is really part of that whole infection process that then causes the self-destruct process of our supporting structures, and hence the word periodontal, around the teeth. So instead of the gums being attached tightly to our teeth, the gums detach, and bacteria get down around the teeth in the crevices around the gum line, forming pockets. Normal, healthy gums are attached within 1 to 3 millimeters as we measure between the tooth and the gum, but in gum disease we'll find these pockets deepen to 6, 9, and 12 millimeters, corresponding to the stages 1, 2, and 3 of gum disease, which by the third stage, quite often the teeth are loose and beyond hope for treatment. Because we're living longer and having healthier lives, and we know that people are happier, healthier, and even live longer when they keep their natural teeth, and not to mention have a higher quality of life. So please make sure that you're having your teeth cleaned on a regular basis, and that you're discussing with your dentist, in particular, what are your pocket measurements. And we're looking for bleeding, infection, inflammation as how we detect this problem. Here at Iowa Dental Arts, we are passionate about helping our patients keep their teeth for a lifetime, and that means early diagnosis and treatment of gum disease so that our patients can live their entire life with their natural teeth, which leads for a happier and healthier life. Thank you for joining me today, and see you next time.
They're very friendly. I cannot believe how many of them remember my name, especially come in wearing a mask and they still know who I am. It makes you feel at home and relaxes you, and you're ready for whatever they need to do. Say I've been to a number of different dentists over the years with my issues, and Dr. Winter is by far my favorite dentist ever.
I guess my dental experience over my whole life has been kind of back and forth. Typically always had my cleanings, grew up on a farm, and I guess never really cared for dentistry for the most part. Just always kind of scared of the doctor. I had some impacted teeth and kind of got left there. They weren't hurting anything, but over a period of time my bite got worse and worse. And then I did some damage by biting improperly, and so I started basically breaking my teeth. And so then I came across Dr. Winters and have had just very great personalized care that has really increased my knowledge and increased my passion to have a beautiful smile. I'd say for me it was more the overall aspect, but it was really when he took a hold of me and basically said, it's time that we start that process, and worked me through it. But I guess I just needed that gentle hand. I needed that gentle approach to, the emotional part, because I just kind of been, I guess, afraid of getting it done, thinking of all the money, all the things that I was going to have to endure. And with his gentleness and guidance and stuff, and basically, getting me set up with Invisalign and braces and stuff, and working hand in hand with the orthodontist, it really has stemmed that I do have a chance, that I have a great opportunity and a great life ahead of me with a beautiful smile.
You may take them for granted, but your teeth are a marvel. They break up all your food over the course of your life, while being strong enough to withstand breakage themselves. And they're formed using only the raw materials from the food they grind down in the first place. What's behind their impressive strength? Teeth rely on an ingenious structure that makes them both hard and tough. Hardness can be thought of as the ability to resist a crack from starting, while toughness is what stops the crack from spreading. Very few materials have both properties. For instance, glass is hard but not tough, while leather is tough but not hard. Teeth manage both by having two layers, a hard external cap of enamel made up almost entirely of a calcium phosphate, and beneath it, a tougher layer of dentin, partly formed from organic fibers that make it flexible. This amazing structure is created by two types of cells, ameloblasts that secrete enamel and odontoblasts that secrete dentin. As they form teeth, odontoblasts move inward, while ameloblasts move out and slough off when they hit the surface. For enamel, this process produces long, thin strands, each about 60 nanometers in diameter. That's 1/1000th the width of a human hair. Those are bundled into rods, packed together, tens of thousands per square millimeter, to form the shield-like enamel layer. Once this process is finished, your enamel can't repair itself again, because all the cells that make it are lost. So we're lucky that enamel can't be easily destroyed. Odontoblasts use a more complex process, but unlike ameloblasts, they stick around, continuing to secrete dentin throughout your life. Despite the differences in teeth across the mammalian order, the underlying process of tooth growth is the same whether it's for lions, kangaroos, elephants, or us. What changes is how nature sculpts the shape of the tooth, altering the folding and growth patterns to suit the distinct diets of different species. Cows have flat molar teeth with parallel ridges for grinding tough grasses. Cats have sharp-crested molars, like blades, for shearing meat and sinew. Pigs have blunt, thick ones, useful for crushing hard roots and seeds. The myriad molars of modern mammals can be traced back to a common form called tribosphenic, which first appeared during the dinosaur age. In the 19th century, paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope developed the basic model for how this form evolved. He hypothesized that it started with a cone-like tooth, as we see in many fishes, amphibians, and reptiles. Small cusps were then added, so the tooth had 3 in a row, aligned front to back, and connected by crests. Over time, the cusps were pushed out of line to make triangular crowns. Adjacent teeth formed a continuous zigzag of crests for slicing and dicing. A low shelf then formed at the back of each set of teeth, which became a platform for crushing. As Cope realized, the tribosphenic molar served as the jumping-off point for the radiation of specialized forms to follow, each shaped by evolutionary needs. Straighten the crests and remove the shelf, and you've got the conveniently bladed teeth of cats and dogs. Remove the front cusp, raise the shelf, and you've got our human molars. A few additional tweaks get you a horse or cow tooth. Some details in Cope's intuitive hypothesis proved wrong, but in the fossil record, there are examples of teeth that look just as he predicted, and we can trace the molars of all living mammals back to that primitive form. Today, the ability to consume diverse forms of food enables mammals to survive in habitats ranging from mountain peaks and ocean depths to rainforests and deserts. So the success of our biological class is due in no small measure to the remarkable strength and adaptability of the humble mammalian molar.
The one thing I would say that separates Dr. Winter and Iowa Dental Arts from everywhere else that I've been in my life as far as dental treatment is that I want to come back. I want to come back for more. I want to know how I can perfect my smile, how I can be on the right track. I'm motivated to want to come back and see what else he has to offer. I think that's pretty special. I also think the one thing that separates him from my other experiences is that he doesn't tell me anything that I don't need. He doesn't push me to do anything that isn't necessary. He might give me the information, but he's very comforting. And dental hygiene can be a sensitive topic for people, especially myself, and I know my children as well. And he never makes you feel that way. It's never, well, you shouldn't have had this drink, or you shouldn't have had that soda, or how many times are we brushing? It's never accusatory. It's supportive, it's motivating, and it's uplifting, and that is worlds different when we're talking about something so personal.
When a team of archaeologists recently came across some 15,000-year-old human remains, they made an interesting discovery. The teeth of those ancient humans were riddled with holes. Their cavities were caused by the same thing that still plagues us today: specific tiny microbes that live in our mouths. These microbes are with us soon after birth. We typically pick them up as babies from our mother's mouths. And as our teeth erupt, they naturally begin to accumulate communities of bacteria. Depending on what we eat, and specifically how much sugar we consume, certain microbes can overpopulate and cause cavities. Diets high in sugary foods cause an explosion of bacteria called mutans streptococci in our mouths. Like humans, these microorganisms love sugar, using it as a molecular building block and energy source. As they consume it, the bacteria generate byproducts in the form of acids, such as lactic acid. The mutans streptococci are resistant to this acid, but unfortunately, our teeth aren't. While each human tooth is coated in a hardy, protective layer of enamel, it's no match for acid. That degrades the armor over time, leaching away its calcium minerals. Gradually, acid wears down a pathway for bacteria into the tooth's secondary layer called the dentin. Since blood vessels and nerves in our teeth are enclosed deep within, at this stage, the expanding cavity doesn't hurt. But if the damage extends beyond the dentin, the bacterial invasion progresses, causing excruciating pain as the nerves become exposed. Without treatment, the whole tooth may become infected and require removal, all due to those sugar-loving bacteria. The more sugar our food contains, the more our teeth are put at risk. Those cavemen would hardly have indulged in sugary treats, however. So what caused their cavities? In meat-heavy diets, there would have been a low risk of cavities developing because lean meat contains very little sugar. But that's not all our early human ancestors ate. Cavemen would also have consumed root vegetables, nuts, and grains, all of which contain carbohydrates. When exposed to enzymes in the saliva, carbohydrates get broken down into simpler sugars, which can become the fodder for those ravenous mouth bacteria. So while ancient humans did eat less sugar compared to us, their teeth were still exposed to sugars. That doesn't mean they were unable to treat their cavities, though. Archaeological remains show that about 14,000 years ago, humans were already using sharpened flint to remove bits of rotten teeth. Ancient humans even made rudimentary drills to smooth out the rough holes left behind, and beeswax to plug cavities, like modern-day fillings. Today, we have much more sophisticated techniques and tools, which is fortunate because we also need to contend with our more damaging, sugar-guzzling ways. After the Industrial Revolution, the human incidence of cavities surged because suddenly we had technological advances that made refined sugar cheaper and accessible. Today, an incredible 92% of American adults have had cavities in their teeth. Some people are more susceptible to cavities due to genes that may cause certain weaknesses, like softer enamel. But for most, high sugar consumption is to blame. However, we have developed other ways of minimizing cavities besides reducing our intake of sugar and starch. In most toothpastes and many water supplies, we use tiny amounts of fluoride. That strengthens teeth and encourages the growth of enamel crystals that build up a tooth's defenses against acid. When cavities do develop, we use tooth fillings to fill and close off the infected area, preventing them from getting worse. The best way to avoid a cavity is still cutting down on sugar intake and practicing good oral hygiene to get rid of the bacteria and their food sources. That includes regular toothbrushing, flossing, and avoiding sugary, starchy, and sticky foods that cling to your teeth between meals. Gradually, the population of sugar-loving microbes in your mouth will decline. Unlike the cavemen of yesteryear, today we have the knowledge required to avert a cavity calamity. We just need to use it.